Because they suck. The real reason probably though is because they don't have a plan, they don't stick to their plan, they don't research their own stocks, they're not self-sufficient, they're following strangers from Facebook groups, right? They go on and they say, hey, what looks good today? And then someone recommends something and they buy it, but they have no entry plan, they have no exit plan, they don't really know what the company even does. They don't look at the charts, they don't look at the technical indicators, they do nothing. They don't even establish trading ranges for the stock, so they don't know where it could likely go over the course of a day or 2 or 3. They know none of this, which is why it is incredibly important to be a self-sufficient trader and know what you're doing on your own instead of just following groupthink. That's how people get crushed doing this. They take huge risks, they lose everything, and then they think trading is just gambling and it sucks and they hate it. And when someone says they're successful, they dismiss it and go, no, because I tried. So I don't know if you know this story, and I'm not actually even sure that it's a true story, but it's something that someone told me once. Back in the 90s, a hedge fund in New York presented their analysts with a list of like 100 stocks and said, of this list, choose 50 that you think will do well next year. Then they put all of the analysts' choices on the wall, and on the next side to that, they put the same list of 100 stocks, and they called in a bunch of actual monkeys. They brought in monkeys, they gave the monkeys darts, and they told the monkeys to throw the darts at the wall. And it turns out that the random darts that the monkeys threw outperformed the like Harvard and other business school analysts' predictions for the year. Not sure if it's true, but it is still funny and shows you how random stocks can be. Even with the best analysts looking at it, sometimes all the analysts can be wrong. The number of monitors that you have doesn't mean you're any more or less of a trader. It doesn't mean you're better or smarter because you have 7 monitors. When you see someone who has 7 monitors on their desk, your first thought is, wow, he's a serious trader. But I just think it looks kind of overwhelming. I personally like to keep it limited to like 5 or 6 charts that I'm monitoring at all times. The idea of having like 7 monitors on my desk just seems very overwhelming. However, Ameritrade's Thinkorswim app does offer this really cool feature called Flexible Grid. I want to show you what it looks like. This is their regular setup. But up here, you can click on something called Flexible Grid, and it gives you this, many more chart options. But what happens if I want a larger view of one of these smaller charts? All you do is right click and hit maximize cell. Boom, big chart. Just because a penny stock goes from one price to another once doesn't mean that it'll do it again. It also doesn't mean that other penny stocks of similar prices will do the exact same thing. I've been seeing a lot of guys on Facebook on these like stock trading channels giving out their like expert wisdom, saying, hey, I saw this stock went from this price to that price, which means that this other penny stock will go from this price to that price. And it's important that you know that these stocks are being pumped and dumped. Pump and dump is when someone who's very wealthy, wealthier than you or I'll ever be, goes in and loads up on penny stocks and then tells all their subscribers, hey, this looks good. Then you go and you buy it, they sell it, it tanks, and you're stuck holding the bag going, what happened? Sometimes you might make a little bit of money on it, but most times you won't, and it'll be too late for you to do anything because you'll have racked up massive losses. That's why it's important to cut your losses